Hello, my name is Treicy Torres.
And what do you do for the Sierra Club?
Sorry, I just blinked. I'm an intern with the Sierra Club, currently helping with the People's Climate March in DC. I think mainly just because the Sierra Club is a part of just about every state. It's very easy to just fall in love with something that you know can take you places, either back home or it's someplace else if you just want to change in your life. I think that was the main benefit from going with the Sierra Club. I think just as a little kid, I was maybe in elementary school, I thought it was the coolest thing that you could recycle things and use them again. And it was just amazing to me. I didn't understand it, and I still kind of don't understand the technical process of it, but it just seemed really cool that science has elevated us to where we can reuse things and that it's beneficial to the environment in that way, too. It was right after the election, and I wanted to come back anyway just to kind of help out, get more experience. But I think after the election, I just realized that I really want to put my time and effort in an organization that I believe in. And the Sierra Club definitely checked all my boxes, and they're doing great things. And I wanted to be a part of the effort to get better access, get better information to things now that stuff like science and climate change are being openly denied by the administration. I think it's also a lot because of their history. They've been around for so long and they've seen a lot of downfalls. I know I took a class where the Sierra Club got some negative feedback because they weren't as, oh God, what's the word? They weren't as involved with minority communities or with issues in environmental justice. And I think this was back in the 60s whenever it first came out that they were purposefully trying to ignore those kinds of issues. But seeing how they've progressed and how they've seen their mistakes and they know how to fix it, they know that they need to keep working on things, they need to keep progressing. I think that's always something that just kind of speaks with me, that you can't grow unless you make mistakes, and as long as you realize that they're mistakes and try to make them better and fix them, then that's all that really matters to me. Now, they should just go ahead and get involved. I think it's very daunting to think that people aren't listening to you, so why bother? I think just going and taking that one step and saying, yeah, maybe they don't bother because they don't know. I think it would take someone to open their eyes to issues that are going on, to really have someone say, oh, well, this is an issue. We need to fix it. It's not always something that just happens on purpose. They're not trying to ignore you. It just takes those first few people who actually go and want to make a change and get other people involved with their struggles. That's what brings attention to issues, and I think it's just very easy to forget that. I'm currently working on the Massachusetts trip to DC for the People's Climate March. That's currently where all of my effort is going to for this part of my internship. Is just People's Climate March initiative. So stoked. There's going to be it's supposedly going to top the number of people that the march in 2014 had, which was I think over 400,000 people. So that's going to be exciting just to know that there's like-minded people out there who took the time and effort to go to DC just to prove a point that they believe that this is something that needs to be addressed. I think it's easy to forget that people out there do care. So I think seeing the huge amount of people out there wanting to have their voice heard and being a part of that group, hopefully being part of something historically important, just sounds awesome. I think it's very important because people my age are going to be seeing a lot of the effects that are going to happen with the environment if we don't change. I think for a lot of the older generations, it's easy for them to not see how it will affect them. because it's not something that will happen in the near future, like within the next year or so. It'll happen within the next 2 or 3 decades, which is still when my generation is going to be around, and maybe we're going to have kids of our own, grandkids of our own, and they're going to see it as well. I think it's important for people right now that know what the earth is like, what the environment is like, to kind of reverse those effects, and the sooner we can do that, the better future generations will be. I think it's going to benefit me, or it has benefited me, because I know actually what organizations are doing. The first internship that I had was here at the Sierra Club, and in it I found out a lot of information about electric vehicle initiatives. I thought it was interesting that this information isn't necessarily public knowledge, and it's not because it's not accessible to the public, it's because it's just not an easy access sort of thing. Like, you can't just find it like on a billboard or something. Like, you'll actually have to go on the internet and actually ask that question. And so I think having that knowledge of knowing what organizations do and how they do it and why they do it is just very important, whether or not I stay with the Sierra Club. I definitely think just the People's Climate March, the one that I'm doing now, like, it is a bit stressful, but I love knowing that there's people out there too that are doing this same exact thing that I am. And I've had to have help from other employees here at this office, but just knowing that there's other chapters in other states, and there's also different levels of the Sierra Club that are doing this exact thing for the same exact reason, was pretty cool. Definitely volunteer. It's very exciting to know that there's lots of Sierra Club chapters that open up their volunteer options for people who actually want to get involved. Obviously, you're probably not going to be entrusted with some really important things first off, but the more you volunteer, the more you will get opportunities to do things with the Sierra Club, whether it's just helping out at a table that we're hosting an event to, or gathering volunteers to, like, clean up a river or a pond or just something nearby. Maybe you'll be able to actually help with something like a People's Climate March, or initiatives to get more electric vehicles on the road. But just volunteering is really just your way of getting into the door, and networking, definitely. We just start over.